in the rise at 600 the bid at 600,000 now. First call bargain basement buying at that at 600,000. Second call at 6. Done. Finished at 600,000 for the third and final call at 600,000. All done, all finished. Silent out at 600,000 at 25. Welcome back, sir. 625 now at 625,000. The bid's here now at 6 1/4 at 625. The bid at 625,000. Put yourself in good stead here today at 625. At 625,000, make it 50 in the rise at 625. At 625,000, fairly been offered now at 625 the bid, looking for 50 in the rise. At 625 the bid for the first call at 625,000. Are we done? At $625,000 the bid for the second call at 625. Are we done? Finished? At 620.
640.
I'm taking 25 in the rise, make it 50. At 625 the bid's here. At 50 now, welcome, best of luck at 50. There's a competition opportunity still with you at 50 now. At 650,000, fairly been offered at 650 the bid. At 6 1/2 and the bid's there. At 650,000. At 650,000, bids there, across the road, opportunity on this side. At 650,000. At 650,000, first call at 650,000, done. At 650,000, I'll take the 10 if it gets you back involved. At 60 now, the same courtesy now at 10 if you like. At 60 I have. At 660,000. At 660,000, bid here. 70 now the call. At 660,000, still great buying. At 660,000, fairly been offered now. At 660 the bid. At 660,000, fairly been offered. Can I get you back in for 10? At 660 I've got. 70 will get you back on top. At 660, at 70 now. Welcome back at 70. At 670,000, your 10 still good with me if you've got it. At 70 the bid there. At 670,000. At 670,000, fairly been offered across the road. 80 can I say now. At $670,000 the bid. At 670,000, bid there. Opportunity here. Once at 70, done. Twice at 670,000, done and finished. At 670, it's got to be 10 in the rise. Can I say 80? At 670,000, you're absolutely sure. At 70 now, we're close. At 670. At 5 for 675. I'll shorten my stride again for you and give you the same courtesy at 5 now if you like. But the best response to a small bid's a big one. 80 at 80 now. At 680,000. Sir, your small bids help the competition come along. It was a quick retort at 80. At 680,000, the bid's there. At 680,000, big bids show at 85 now. At 685. At 685 now. At 685, the bid and make it 90 now. At 685 and 90 got. At 690,000 might be the first of 700 wins. At 690,000, the bid's there. Can you round me off to 7, sir? At 690, I've got. At 690,000, fairly been offered. We are extremely close, ma'am, at 690,000. If we don't get any further, I'm sure that the highest bidder will buy. That's how close we are. At 690,000, bids there. Opportunity with you. At 690,000, once at 690, done. Twice at 690,000, done. Finished. Third at 95. At 695, 700 beckons now. At 600, at 700, even money at that. At 7, on the market, Alex. At 700,000, man, we are on the market and selling, but the keys are there. At 700,000 now, we're on the market, we sell. If there's no further bidding here today, you will be the lucky buyer. At 700,000, we sell away now. Once at 700,000, are we done? At 705, and welcome back at 705. Keys with you now at 705,000. At 705,000, you had those keys, but they've got them back off you now. 705, it's not over yet.
Is this still going up just
at 705, it's up to you. 705, I dare say, big bid might do it for you now though. At 2.5, I will take 2.5 of 707.5. At 707,500. At 707.5, smaller bid there, 707,500 now. Fairly been offered at 707.5, and they've got the keys. At 707.5, at 10 now, at 710. At 710,000. At 710,000, bid back here now, keys back here now. At 710,000, bids there, keys are there. At 20 now, great bid at that. At 720,000, big bids, buy property. At 720,000. At 720, they've raised the stakes at 20 now. At 720,000, the best response to a big bid is an even bigger one, sir. At 720,000, the bid's there. At 720. At 720,000, what do you say? At 720 the bid, we're on the market, we sell, bids there, keys are there. At 25. At 725 the bid now. At 725. at 725,000, fairly been offered. Bid there now at 725. Keys there now at 7 1/4. At 725 the bid.
730.
At 30 got. At 730. At 730 the bid now at 730,000. At 730,000 bid there at 730. Keys are there at 730,000. Have they done enough? At 30 the bid. At $730,000 now once. At 730 all done. At 2.5 at 732,500. At 732.5. At 732,500. Bid there now at 732.5. At 732,500. Another big bid might just get it for you now. At 732.5, barely been offered. At 732,500. Bid there. Opportunity with you now. But the keys are there as it stands. At 732,500. Once at 732.5 all done. Twice at 732,500 done, finished, third, final call, 732.5, all done, at 35, at 735, at 735,000, at 6 now at 736, at 736, at 736, got them down to $1,000 bids now. Try maybe 740 in the rise at 736,000. Can entice you in for 40 at 736,000. The bid's there at 736, at 736,000, at 736,000. Fairly been offered. First call at 736, all done. Second call 736, done, finished. Third, final call at 736,000.
738.
At 38, at 738. Can I say 40? At 738,000. At 738, bid back there now at 738. At 9, it's 739. At 739,000. At 739, the quick retort with 1. At 739,000, fairly been offered across the road at 739. Have they done enough? You're definitely out. At 739,000, thank you very much for your bidding here today. At $739,000 a bid. They tell me they're out once at 739, done. Twice at 739,000, bids here, done and finished. Third, final call at $739,000 the bid, all done, all finished, silent out at 739. We're absolutely sure. I've got your absolute best here today. Yes or no, last chance. 739, 40 will get you ahead now. At 739,000, we done? One more, 740, why not? At 740,000 now. At 740,000, bid back there now at 40. At 740,000, fairly been offered. At 740 the bid. At 740,000, bids there, keys are there. Opportunity now on the market and selling though. At 740,000, if you've come to buy, you must show me now. At 740, we're on the market. We sell now at 740 once, twice, at 741. At 741, definitely done, absolutely sure this time. At 741,000, it was worth a try. At 741,000, bids there, keys are there, we're on the market and selling at 741. First call at 741, second call at 741 the bid, third, final call, 741,000 all done, all finished, all silent out at 741, definitely sure. Thank you very much for your bidding. We're selling, 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 sold. Congratulations, well bid here today. Please join me congratulating our purchasers and our vendors here today. You've just witnessed another successful Harcourts, Rata and Co auction. Have a great weekend. See you again soon. Thank you. Congratulations.